March 15th, 44 BC. The sun rises over the city of Rome. Merchants open their shops. Citizens fill the streets. Senators prepare for an important meeting. At first glance, it seems like a normal day in the Roman Republic. But before the day ends, the most powerful man in Rome will be dead. Not killed in battle, not by a foreign enemy, but murdered by the very men who called him friend. His name was Julius Caesar, and this is the story of his final days and the conspiracy that changed Rome forever. Before we begin, if you enjoy history stories like this one, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos. Now let's go back a few years. By 44 BC, Caesar had become the most powerful man in Rome. His rise to power began with a series of extraordinary military victories during the Gallic Wars. For nearly 10 years, Caesar led Roman legions across Gaul, conquering vast territories and building a loyal army. His soldiers admired him. The Roman people celebrated him. But his growing fame made many politicians nervous. One man in particular feared Caesar's ambition, the powerful general Pompey. Tensions between the two men grew until Rome was pushed into civil war. When Caesar crossed the Rubicon River with his army, he openly defied the Senate. It was a point of no return. After years of conflict, Caesar emerged victorious. Pompey was defeated. His political enemies were gone, and Caesar returned to Rome as the undisputed master of the Republic. The Senate granted him extraordinary powers. Eventually, they declared him dictator for life. For many Romans, this brought hope. After years of chaos and civil war, Caesar promised stability and reform. But for others, his power was terrifying. For centuries, Romans had hated kings. Their ancestors had overthrown a monarchy long ago and created the Republic. The Republic was supposed to prevent any single man from ruling alone. Yet now, Caesar seemed to hold unlimited power. Statues were built in his honor. His face appeared on coins. Some of his supporters even suggested that he should become king. To a group of senators, this was unacceptable. They believed Caesar was destroying the Republic, and so they began to plan something dangerous, a conspiracy. One of the leaders of this plot was Gaius Cassius Longinus, a senator who deeply resented Caesar's authority. But the conspirators knew they needed someone whose reputation could justify their actions. That man was Marcus Junius Brutus. Brutus was respected throughout Rome, and his family name carried powerful symbolism because one of his ancestors had helped overthrow Rome's ancient kings. His relationship with Caesar made the situation even more complicated. Brutus had once fought against him during the Civil War, yet Caesar had forgiven him and welcomed him back into political life. Some Romans even believed Caesar treated him almost like a son. But Brutus feared Caesar's ambition might eventually destroy the Republic. In the end, he joined the conspiracy. More than 60 senators became part of the plot. Their plan was simple, but incredibly dangerous. They would kill Caesar during a meeting of the Senate, where he would be surrounded by fellow senators and vulnerable. As the day approached, strange warnings began to appear. According to Roman historians, Caesar's wife Calpurnia had terrifying dreams the night before the assassination. She dreamed that Caesar's statue was bleeding and that Romans were washing their hands in his blood. Frightened by the vision, she begged him not to attend the Senate meeting the next day. Around the same time, a mysterious soothsayer approached Caesar and delivered a chilling warning. Beware the Ides of March. The Ides referred to the middle of the month, March 15th. Caesar reportedly dismissed the warning. After surviving years of warfare, political rivals, and rebellions, he may have felt untouchable. Still, on the morning of March 15th, he hesitated. Calpurnia's dream troubled him, and for a moment he considered staying home. But one of the conspirators, Decimus Junius Brutus Albinus, convinced him otherwise. He argued that the Senate would be insulted if Caesar failed to appear. Reluctantly, Caesar agreed and left his house to attend the meeting. As he approached the Senate building, the same soothsayer who had warned him earlier was standing nearby. Caesar reportedly joked, "The Ides of March have come." The soothsayer replied calmly, "Yes, but they are not yet gone." Inside the Senate chamber, the conspirators were already waiting. One by one, they gathered around Caesar, as if presenting requests and petitions. Then, suddenly, everything changed. One senator grabbed Caesar's toga, while another pulled out a dagger. The signal had been given. The conspirators surrounded Caesar and began stabbing him repeatedly. Chaos filled the chamber. At first, Caesar tried to defend himself, but then he recognized one of the attackers. It was Brutus. According to legend, this was the moment Caesar stopped resisting. Seeing someone he trusted among the assassins broke his will to fight. The famous words often attributed to him in that moment are "Et Brute," meaning even you, Brutus. Whether he actually said these words is still debated by historians, but the betrayal was undeniable. Moments later, Caesar collapsed to the ground at the base of a statue of his former rival Pompey. When the attack ended, he had been stabbed 23 times. The most powerful man in Rome was dead. The conspirators believed they had saved the Republic. They walked through the streets, proclaiming that Rome was free. But they had made a terrible mistake. Instead of restoring stability, Caesar's assassination plunged Rome into chaos. One of Caesar's closest allies, Mark Antony, soon turned public opinion against the conspirators. Even more important was Caesar's adopted heir Augustus. Within a few years, Rome would fall into another brutal civil war. In the end, the Republic the conspirators tried to save disappeared forever. Augustus would rise to power as Rome's first emperor, and the Roman Empire would begin. The assassination of Julius Caesar remains one of the most famous political murders in history. A story of ambition, fear, loyalty, and betrayal. Caesar survived wars, rebellions, and powerful enemies. But in the end, the greatest threat to his life did not come from the battlefield. It came from the Senate and from the men he once trusted most. If you enjoyed this story and want to discover more fascinating moments from history, make sure to subscribe to the channel and join us for the next video.